Hello everyone, welcome to Grandstand Sports Data. In this video, we'll be ranking the top 5 quarterback prospects for the 2023 NFL Draft. We will be analyzing both at the fundamental and technical level for these players and predict their future with our quarterback model. So enough with the introduction, let's dive in and see how our model will predict these 5 prospects and their future for the upcoming 2023 NFL Draft. So first, let's start with a description or a brief description on what you're going to see throughout this presentation. So for each of the quarterbacks, their first slide will hold their strengths and their weaknesses. And below them, you will see a variable or a skill set, and you will see it color-coded. The colors represented are red, orange, yellow, green, and blue. And with those, we analyzed 10 scouting reports for each of these quarterbacks, and the red would signify that that variable or skill set appeared on almost all of their scouting reports, whether it's a strength or a weakness. The next frequent would be orange. Yellow would indicate about half of the scouting reports that particular variable popped up on. Green would be a little less than half, and blue would be that they touched on it very briefly but didn't emphasize further or listed it as a minor detail. Next, you're going to see that some of the variables actually overlap. Like you will see here for Will Levis, mechanics pops up on both strengths and weaknesses. And since it's in green for strengths, it means that it popped up on about 20 to 40% of scouting reports that his mechanics are good, whereas another 20 to 40% of scouting reports said his mechanics are something he needs improvement on. So now that we got that first slide out of the way, let's get to our number 5 quarterback, Will Levis. So Will Levis is a prototypically sized NFL quarterback with an impressively powerful arm, which effortlessly fits balls into the tightest of windows. Not only is he a threat in the quick passing game, but he also is incredibly mobile. He's able to plow through smaller defenders, and his compact, over-the-top motion allows him to throw with better touch and accuracy. He has experience in a pro-style passing scheme requiring full field reads and has proven his toughness by playing through injuries in 2022. His pocket presence still needs a little bit of work, yet he is able to slide and throw simultaneously from the pocket. On top of his footballing abilities, Will also has great character, demonstrated by his 4.0 GPA and multiple scholarship offers from Ivy League schools. Some negative aspects of Will's game at quarterback could be that his physical skills may be his greatest asset because he lacked production in college. He has an internal clock that needs to be quicker, and he often sticks to his first passing option without moving on to the next read. He has poor decision making, runs hot and cold with his accuracy, ball placement, and touch. Will also trusts his arm a little too much and will test coverage windows with multiple defenders, which result in a lot of turnovers. He also has poor pocket presence and lower body mechanics that are routinely inconsistent. So in the next slide, you're going to see the second slide for each of the NFL prospects. This is our technical analysis portion. And in the technical analysis portion, we ran a model that takes college statistics and translates them to NFL production. And we did this for each of the NFL quarterbacks for the last 10 years, came up with a formula, and then applied it to the college statistics of each of the prospects. What you will see here is their regular season production. Underneath, you'll see the color codes for that, and that will be the rank where they would have fallen at the end of this year, the 2022 season. So for instance, you'll see Will Levis would have had a completion percentage of 65%, and this would have ranked him 19th in the NFL in the year 2022. In the next image, you'll see playoffs, and this will be basically their college statistics, and how it translates to NFL playoff success or non-success, however you look at it. The next image you're going to see is the awards category. And first we have individual awards, which will be any AP awards. So that could be Offensive Rookie of the Year, it could be MVP, it could be Super Bowl MVP, it can be Comeback Player of the Year, and so on and so forth. The next column will be Pro Bowls. The next column will be All Pros. And then the next column after that will be Super Bowls. And when we say Super Bowls, we mean Super Bowl starting winning quarterback. So Jimmy Garoppolo has 2 Super Bowl wins, but he was sitting behind Tom Brady. So he would have a 0 in that category, just to give you an example. Then in the last image down below, you're going to see the technical analysis pro comparison. So for Will Levis, you're going to see in his regular season production, we have his career quarterback completion percentage being set at 65%. His touchdown percentage, which would be 4.6%, that would land him about in the middle of all quarterbacks in the year 2022. His interception percentage would be rather high at 2.7. His quarterback rating would be 90.7. His adjusted net yards per attempt would be 5.99. His bad throw percentage would be 15.7%. And his on-target percentage would be slightly better than all the other statistics, sitting at 76.2%. This would leave him with a career regular season win percentage of close to 46%. So he would win about 46% of the games that he started. Now let's move to the playoffs. You will see that his completion percentage, almost like every other quarterback, would drop when it comes to playoffs, sitting at 60.1%. His touchdown percentage would be 3.8. His interception percentage would tick up about a half a percentage to 3.2. His quarterback rating would fall drastically to 77.7. His adjusted net yards per attempt would be 4.84. This leaving him with a win percentage in the playoffs of about 31%. Some of the awards based on these analysis on the previous 2 analysis would be one individual award, which could have been Rookie of the Year or Comeback Player. He would make it to 2 Pro Bowls, 0 All-Pros, and 0 Super Bowl wins. So this is very similar, or these statistics are very similar to Taylor Heinicke, and that would be Will Levis's technical pro comparison. So on the third slide, you're going to see for each of the NFL prospects the fundamental analysis on the left. And it's very similar to the analysis that we did in the first slide when it came to analyzing the scouting reports, but now we're just basically quantifying it or putting a number onto it. So as you can see in the far left column, you're going to see each of the variables for the quarterbacks. In the middle column, you're going to see a value. In the value, we did -5 being the worst, to 0 being absolutely in the middle, and 5 being the best for each of the variables. Color codes remain the same, just like how we did in our analysis in the first page, so blue being the worst, all the way to red being the best. Then next to that, in the next column, we put a grade, and the grade is just respective to the value. So 5 is obviously the best that you can get for that respective skill set, so it would be labeled an A. 4 would also be an A, while 3 would be a B, 2 would be a B, 1 would be a C, and so on and so forth. In the total row, as you can see all the way down, you will see a 15 next to it, which will be the total sum of the values. So this would be a 15 out of a high score of a possible 65. Whereas a worst score, or the worst score that you could possibly get, is a -65. So he sits at about a B, which would be to the right and would be the total grade. Below that, you will see a fundamental pro comparison of a quarterback that had very similar traits from his college career going into his rookie NFL season. So as you could see, Will Levis, his velocity was a 5, his physical ability was a 5, and other pros were his mobility and his pro readiness. While he did need a lot of work on his decision making and able to read the defense, He can also use improvement in his pocket presence and also his winner mentality. So this was very comparative to Josh Allen when he was coming out. Josh Allen, as you could tell, he's a physical specimen with a great velocity, mobility, and pro readiness. But remember, this isn't about Josh Allen. It's just the fact that Will Levis, his fundamental analysis compares very well to Josh Allen. On the right, you're going to see Grandstand Sports Data's NFL comparison, so who we think the quarterback will most represent throughout his career. You'll see when they expect to be drafted and also the career expectations. So from Grandstand Sports Data, we actually think Will Levis will be very comparable to a Ryan Tannehill. We would almost say he's a mobile Ryan Tannehill. You could expect Will Levis to be drafted in the mid-first round. And also you can expect his career expectations to be a lot like Ryan Tannehill, where he's that mid-level starter. So anywhere from about, I would say, ranked 13th in the NFL at his best year to about 20th in the NFL. So that's what you will see going forward throughout this presentation. Coming in at number 4, Hendon Hooker from Tennessee. So Hendon Hooker has the size of a pure NFL pocket passer and is an athletic quarterback with good mobility and accuracy on all levels. He is a really smart player with high character. He aced his interviews at the combine and is a natural team leader. Hooker has good arm strength, capable of pushing the ball downfield, and has clean throwing mechanics. He generally avoids high risk, low yield throws, and is tough in the pocket, showing willingness to stand strong in the face of the pass rush and deliver the ball. He has the ability to recognize defensive schemes and make adjustments at the line of scrimmage and gets through progressions like an NFL quarterback. For weaknesses, however, Hooker is a 6th-year senior who will be 25 years old as a rookie. However, his rookie season is uncertain due to an ACL injury back in November. His accuracy is good, although not surgical. He gets sloppy with his mechanics on the move, resulting in a loss of accuracy as he relies too much on his arm strength. Hooker participated in an offense that is not often seen in the NFL, so he may have to face a difficult transition. He was not asked to make many decisions, and most throws were pre-planned. His internal clock can be slow at times, resulting in avoidable sacks. Finally, Hooker is a runner who takes on too much contact, and his footwork needs some work as he can be flat-footed most of the time. So next, as you can see from the technical analysis, Hendon Hooker would be projected to have a completion percentage of about 63.3 at the NFL level. He'll have a touchdown percentage of 3.9, an interception percentage of 2.2, a quarterback rating of 88.2, an adjusted net yards per attempt of 6.11, a bad throw percentage of 18.9%, which would put him almost last in the NFL, an on-target percentage of about 75%, and a winning percentage of a little bit over 500 at .511. His playoff production would drop significantly, however. His completion percentage would drop to 39.5, with a touchdown percentage of 2.8, an interception percentage of 0.9, but with a quarterback rating of 58.1. His adjusted net yards per attempt would be 4.35, while his win percentage would be close to 29%. Some awards that he may be possibly in the running for would be one individual award, which we've said before is basically any AP award. He could possibly make it to 2 Pro Bowls, 0 All-Pros, and win 0 Super Bowls. This technical pro comparison is very close to a Lamar Jackson. Now let's get on to Hendon Hooker's fundamental analysis. So as you can see, he has great pocket presence as he rates as an A, and also physical ability. He also does well in his mechanics, accuracy, velocity, and football IQ. A place that he really needs work, though, is his pro readiness, as we basically see this as his scheme. His scheme in college was not of an NFL caliber offense. It was very pre-planned. Therefore, we don't know how much talent he will be able to implement in terms of his NFL game, or even the chance of him learning an NFL offense. All his values add up to a 20, which would leave him with a grade of about a B. His fundamental pro comparison would be Jacoby Brissett. And so, us at Grandstand Sports Data, we have an NFL comparison of about Geno Smith. We think that he's not going to be at Jacoby Brissett level, but he's not going to be at Lamar Jackson level as well, as you saw in the technical analysis. I think you will find him somewhere in the middle, which would be about Geno Smith. You can expect Hendon Hooker to be drafted in the late first round to mid-second round, and his career expectations is a mid-level starter. So you could see him at about maybe 15th in the NFL, or just like Geno Smith, about mid-level, talking, from 13 to 20. So coming in at number 3 is Anthony Richardson from Florida. Anthony Richardson is an athletic freak with extraordinary size and strength. He is an elite runner and is able to break tackles like a fullback. He's built like a linebacker, but with the speed of a wideout. Anthony's throwing power is exceptional. He's able to throw accurately downfield and into tight spaces. Additionally, he can release the ball quickly and precisely when needed, even while being surrounded by defenders. He can read defenses at a fundamental level and is disciplined enough to take the check down throw underneath when necessary. Anthony has functional pass accuracy and is great when he's mechanically sound and in rhythm. He's a true dual threat quarterback because he keeps his eyes downfield as he scrambles. Some of Anthony Richardson's downsides, though, are he is an inexperienced quarterback, has only started 1 year, with a total of 13 starts. He has an inconsistent game and is very volatile, as he is extremely inaccurate as a passer and makes questionable decisions. Anthony also has improper mechanics and tends to hold the ball too long, and he can misread coverage and throw into danger. Additionally, he has below average touch and ball placement when rolling out, and he can get antsy in the pocket when there is no real pressure. He's also easily rattled by his own play, the defense's play, or even just the flow of the game. So next would be the technical analysis for Anthony Richardson. As you can see, for his regular season production, we are predicting a completion percentage of about 65.5%, leaving him about midway in the NFL in terms of the year 2022 if he was to compete. He would have a touchdown percentage of 6.1, which would make him crack the top 5. An interception percentage of 1.7, a quarterback rating of 102.3, an adjusted net yards per attempt of 7.65, a bad throw percentage of 18.1, which means he's not very accurate and won't get the ball to his targets, but his on-target percentage actually fights back on that and says it would be 77.6%. So when he throws it into the numbers, but when he does have a bad throw, it goes into the seats. This would leave him with a win percentage of close to 71%, almost close to calling him an elite quarterback in terms of the technical analysis. As you can see from the playoffs, he would actually up his game in terms of the completion percentage. So his game actually translates better in the playoffs, being 67% completion percentage, a 5.2 touchdown percentage, which dropped by almost close to a full percent. His interceptions would actually go down to 1.1, so it'd play a little safer, leading to a better passer rating of 104. His adjusted net yards per attempt would go up to 7.83, leaving him with a win percentage of 56%, which is a pretty good win percentage for a playoff quarterback. This would project Anthony Richardson to land into 5 Pro Bowls, win 2 individual awards, have 1 All-Pro season, and win 1 Super Bowl. This technical analysis is very comparable to Matt Stafford. Next, for the fundamental analysis, as you can see from Anthony Richardson, he ranks very high in his velocity, his physical ability, and also his mobility. A lot of scouting reports tend to say that he has the size of Cam Newton, but the lateral quickness and also just the quickness in general of Lamar Jackson, which could be very dangerous. After his more elite skill sets, he's actually not too bad in the pocket as he can sit in there and take a hit. But then after that, he falls into a lot of categories. His decision making is one of the worst in terms of the other quarterbacks that will be 2023 NFL prospects. He also will need help reading defenses and is not necessarily pro ready. So he'll be working from a clean slate. His accuracy will need improvement, his leadership will need improvement, and also his football IQ. As you can see, this leaves him with a value of 1 and a grade of about a C. And this fundamental analysis is very comparable to Cam Newton. So us at Grandstand Sports Data actually believe in that, and we think that he's very comparable to Cam Newton. We think that his upside could take him to Cam Newton levels where he won an All-Pro and made it to a Super Bowl, where his downside could take him to, somebody of a bench quarterback or a backup quarterback, because his play is very volatile, like mentioned. You can expect Anthony Richardson to be drafted 3rd overall all the way to the mid-1st round. His career expectations, however, are top 15 level starter. So we find this to be very, very comparable to a Cam Newton with tremendous upside, but his floor could be very, very low. Coming in at number 2 is C.J. Stroud from Ohio State. So C.J. Stroud is a dynamic football player with excellent arm strength and passing game instincts. He has a good feel for the rush and is adept at maneuvering within the pocket. His accuracy is impressive and his deep ball is aesthetically pleasing. Stroud is also an excellent anticipatory thrower, capable of reading defenses at an NFL starting quarterback level. His mechanics are solid, and he has the vision to deceive defenses by looking off safeties. He is also a good decision maker with full knowledge of the offensive playbook. On the flip side, though, Stroud has not been the best at handling duress, as he can be late with his decisions or not particularly comfortable under pressure. He has also played in a very quarterback-friendly scheme, which could potentially limit his growth as a player. But despite these few weaknesses, he is still an intriguing prospect who could develop into a very solid quarterback at the next level. So here's the technical analysis for C.J. Stroud. We have him in the regular season with the completion percentage of 62.2%, a touchdown percentage of 3.7%, an interception percentage of 2.6, quarterback rating of 84.1, an adjusted net yards per attempt of 5.44, where his bad throw percentage would leave him at 17.6%, and an on-target percentage of 74.3. So this would leave him with the under 500 record sitting at close to 43%. This would leave him in the bottom half of the NFL, close to, in terms of rating, almost dead last in the NFL. So the technical analysis is not very favorable for C.J. Stroud. His playoff projections. Completion percentage would drop all the way down to 35.5, touchdown percentage of about 1.9, interception percentage of 2.1, where his quarterback rating will be a miserable 43.7. His adjusted net yards per attempt would be 2.73 with a win percentage of only 16%. This is almost a non-existent playoff performance, so the model is basically trying to say he most likely will not make the playoffs, and if he does, he'll get yanked. Awards, however, for CJ Stroud, he will have nothing across the board, and this would be very comparable to a Derek Carr. So next would be the fundamental analysis, and this is actually where CJ actually strides. You will see that he's actually pretty good in terms of accuracy, velocity, vision, pocket presence, and even his mechanics. The only thing we really see in terms of the fundamental analysis where he really needs improvement in his game would be his mobility. He doesn't move as much as people would like. He also comes in pretty good at his ability to read a defense and also his football IQ. And those are some big things that we like at Grandstand Sports Data. So we don't really put much emphasis on mobility for the quarterbacks, which may be a detriment to us. It's just something that we use it as a small factor, and that's probably why guys who are pocket quarterbacks get more love from us than others. As you can see from his fundamental analysis, his pro comparison would be Jared Goff, but us at Grandstand Sports Data actually think CJ Stroud will turn into a Justin Herbert. CJ will be expected to be drafted either second overall to the mid-first round, and you can expect his career expectations to be a top 15 level starter. And that's pretty much what we think Justin Herbert is. Justin Herbert on probably his worst year will be top 15 in the NFL, to where he could probably be top 5 in some years. We think CJ Stroud can fit this mold. One thing that came out late after this analysis is that CJ Stroud, when taking tests at the combine, actually scored the worst out of all quarterbacks when it came to decision making, which makes us a little bit nervous. It's been implemented in the fundamental analysis. As you can see, he got a D for decision making, but it still raises a red flag for us. So coming in at number 1, and our highest ranked quarterback coming out of this year's draft would be Bryce Young. So Bryce Young is an impressive quarterback with creative abilities both in and out of the pocket. His impressive arm talent and ability to make accurate tight window throws to all areas of the field are well known. He has the ability to work through progressions and throw with anticipation, and improvise to make a play out of structure. Young is a natural playmaker at the quarterback position with an instinctive feel for the pocket and excellent field vision. He reads defenses quickly and has a calm demeanor in some crucial situations with a high football IQ and is a very good decision maker. So Bryce Young is a highly touted quarterback prospect entering the NFL draft. Despite being highly rated quarterback, Young falls short in some areas. His lack of size and overall bulk raise questions about whether his frame could hold up in the physicality of the NFL. He also lacks elite arm strength, is not an explosive runner, and often leaves his lower half behind on throws down the field. Despite these weaknesses, Young is still considered a top-tier quarterback prospect due to his impressive mobility and leadership qualities. For technical analysis for Bryce Young, we have him at a quarterback completion percentage at 63.6, which would leave him 22nd in the 2022 season of the NFL, with a touchdown percentage of 4.9, almost cracking the top 10, and an interception percentage of 2.4. His quarterback rating would be 91, with an adjusted net yards per attempt of 5.85 and a bad throw percentage of 16.1. His on-target percentage would be 74.6, while his win percentage would fall slightly below 500 at 49.2. The technical analysis does not see him actually performing in the playoffs that well, as he would have a completion percentage of 47.1, touchdown percentage of 2.5, and an interception percentage of 2.7. He has a quarterback rating of 59.7 in the NFL playoffs with an adjusted net yards per attempt of 3. This would leave him with a win percentage of about 18%. So not a highly efficient NFL playoff quarterback. The awards would be one individual award, maybe a Rookie of the Year, Comeback Player of the Year, we don't know, but one individual award, 3 Pro Bowls, 0 All-Pros, and 0 Super Bowl victories as a starter. This is very comparable to an Andy Dalton. So let's get to the fundamental analysis. And the fundamental analysis, as you can see from Bryce Young, is lots of red and lots of oranges, which signifies a good NFL quarterback. He has good mobility, good vision, and great leadership. He also strives at accuracy, pocket presence, having that winner mentality, and also his decision making. One huge downside to Bryce Young is that he is small. He is extremely small, so his physical ability would be labeled an F. He's probably going to be the smallest NFL quarterback drafted in the first round from a statistic that I read. But this fundamental analysis, the value ends at a 28, which would leave him with a B grade. And this would be very comparable to Russell Wilson when he was transitioning from college to the NFL. Us at Grandstand Sports Data think that his true NFL comparison will be Kyler Murray. You can expect Bryce Young to be drafted first overall, and his career expectations is a franchise quarterback. So as you can see from our number 1 rated quarterback being a 28 on the fundamental analysis and not having the greatest technical analysis, that this year the quarterbacks are actually in a down year in terms of the draft. We did this analysis a couple years ago. We obviously didn't put it on video in terms of YouTube because we just created the channel just recently, but we did analysis 2 years ago, or the year that Trevor Lawrence came out, and he rated a 38 out of the 65 possible score, which is about a B plus A minus, and that's the highest grade that we've had in a quarterback since doing this. So it's kind of, I don't want to say a significant drop off, but 8 points is a lot in terms of 8 to 10 points difference. The only difference is that draft wasn't as, I guess it wasn't as deep, even though I wouldn't consider this deep. I guess I could say that this draft is not too much high-end talent, whereas the Trevor Lawrence draft had the high-end guy and then a lot of middle-of-the-pack guys with Mac Jones, and I think Kyle Trask high rated right there with Mac Jones just from that previous analysis. So like always, would like to thank you guys for watching. That's it for our top 5 quarterback prospects to watch out for in the 2023 NFL Draft. Be sure to subscribe to our channel, Grandstand Sports Data, for more NFL coverage and analysis on different sports. If you like this video, give it a like and share it with your friends. Would love to hear your thoughts in the comments section below. And until next time, see you in the next one.